I'm going to do I guess an unboxing and a demonstration on how I made my CO2 diffuser for my tank. They sell these at Meijer. I don't know about any other big chain store. But it's just a small filter. It's got two chambers on it. This one, well, you'll see, it's going to have a sponge filter in it. This one has a carbon chamber. I'm not really sure why they show it on the box without it in it. And they do on the top as well. But inside the box, whoops. It's really pack safe. You got your whole filter assembly here. Now you're going to have some miscellaneous pieces. This is a air intake that can, this here goes on the front. That's not what I used. And then this little air intake goes here. It will suck air in. Use it like a plugs on here, goes up to the top of your tank, goes up on here, sucks air in, blows it out into your tank. I'm not going to use that. It also has this. Generally what this is used for, you can see there's little holes in it. This would go on here and you'd mount this on the end of your tank. It's more of a circulation type thing. You'd mount this at the end of your tank, and then this would be a water return going into your tank. But for our purposes, we're just going to use this piece here, directional flow. It also has a fast, medium, and slow setting. My 20-gallon long, I have it set on low, so it's not it's just creating extra breeze around the tank. And what I did was, in your bottom chamber you have a filter and a container to hold it in place. Draws up through here, goes through this chamber, which snaps on. It's got a little groove on the front, a little groove on the back, impeller, 4 suctions. Be very careful with these. If you slide them around the tank, it will pull out. It has a carbon, it has a little carbon chamber here that fits down in. You're going to want to use that. It doesn't come out the bottom, and it locks in place when this is on top of it. Like this. Pinch it in place, and this stays locked in because of the little tabs right there on the front. Take this out, and what I did, I took a little screwdriver and I pried this part up, opened it up, and took all the carbon out of it, put it in a bag. Save that for later for one of my other carbon filters. All I did was I measured how far this went down into the tank, where it snapped. It's right along that line. And I put a little mark, scored a little mark on there. I don't know if you can see it. Right even with this impeller where it takes it in. Emptied this out, drilled a hole through there, right through the side, and put my air line in right into it. And I went in about as far enough so that it comes through the side like this. Snap that on without the carbon in it. Air goes into the chamber. Nothing will get sucked up into the tank unless it's, or into the impellers, unless it's really, really small. I'm pretty sure that my next change to this will be, I will take a section of this sponge, cut it off, and put it inside of that little chamber instead of just an empty space. That way I can make sure nothing gets up through. And you mount it, hook your CO2 up to it through the air line, like I said, which would go in, I put it in through here, but you could put it in through the back, or I don't know, maybe even down through the bottom. This piece here, you could probably mount it on there, but it seemed to me that regular standard airline didn't fit too well on this. It fits, but it's not that snug. With the CO2 going straight up through the bottom of this into the impeller, it gets hit, chopped up, and then it's already little tiny bubbles by the time it gets here and blown out into your tank. Now, I did use this. I have tried this long ways, mounted it on the back of the tank. I pointed it into the return stream of my filter, which helped it circulate around the tank. But also with this, you can directional point it down. If you had plants that you really wanted the CO2 just to go mostly on them, I suppose you could just point it right down towards them, point the holes down, bam. It worked. It worked well. It's not really that loud. I don't know how much of a stream you're going to put into it. It's quiet enough for me. And this thing, $11.99. The Elite Minis, I know I have heard anywhere between $7 up to like $15. But I could get this at my local store, so I didn't have to go anywhere. Other than there, I didn't have to pay in online or wonder whether or not I'm going to get it. And it's got a lot of power. It says it's up to 70 gallons per hour filtration. So it's actually a pretty decent little filter itself. If you had a little hospital tank or something like that for 12 bucks, it looks like a great filter. And the bottom chamber, easy to change. The middle chamber, once you pop that lid off, it'll actually snap back in place. I don't think you'd have to buy replacement ones if you wanted to use carbon in your filter. You could just refill it back up with a big jug of carbon. Enjoy.